Hello, hello, hello. How you doing out there? This is Mable, your princess of poetry and praise.
And I'm Brother Paul.
And we are so thankful you're with us today. Thank you for joining us, Mable, your princess of poetry and praise, and Brother Paul. And we are here because we are representing Amen Communications here on Conversations with Mable. Conversations with Mable can be seen on Greensboro Community Television on Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. and on Sunday afternoons at 1 p.m. Or you can see it anytime you feel like watching it at your convenience. Just go to YouTube, Conversations with Mable. And today we're just going to talk a little bit about what we do with our nonprofit, Amen Communications, Inc. What this nonprofit does is provide dollars for scholars. That's right, dollars for scholars. We write and we publish books in order to provide dollars for scholars so students can go to trade schools, get special certifications, get special certificates, or go to four-year colleges and universities. And this is very important, isn't it, Brother Paul?
Oh, yes. In today's economy, and it's been proven that if you don't have a college degree or some kind of skill set, you're totally lost. And it's been proven that those who have a college degree, who goes on for 4 years, make about $1 million more than a person who does not go to a four-year institution. But either way, these young people today, a lot of them already have a game plan mapped out. They know what they want to do. They got a plan on how to do it. And I have been amazed at just how focused some of our young people are.
And they also have in their mind, or they've already written out, Brother Paul, a business plan because they've already said, well, I want to go to beauty school, or I want to go to barber school, or I want to end up doing nails or eyebrows or eyelashes or tattoos, or I want to be a welder. I want to do videos, just a whole wide gamut of things that we never thought about when we were in high school.
We did not have those opportunities. When I was in school, it was basically you go to school and you probably end up being a teacher, maybe a lawyer,
a social worker,
maybe a doctor,
a postman.
Those were aspirations that you would, aspire to. But now, these kids have all kinds of opportunities and all kinds of fields to go into. It's just amazing, the opportunities. But the main thing is the student has to buckle down and do the work. Do the work. Whether you're going to trade school, or you're going to a four-year institution or a two-year institution, you still got to buckle down and do the work.
And with Amen Communications, this is the nonprofit that God put in my spirit several years ago. We realized that it was very difficult when we were at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. It was kind of hard, wasn't it, Brother Paul?
Sometimes very
much so. We were on work study. We were getting grants. We were getting all kinds of support to try to stay in school. And the Lord just laid on my heart, well, think of a way that you can pull together some funding in order to give students some money to help them to get through school. And we may not be able to give away thousands and thousands, but we can give away hundreds and hundreds. And when you add that all together with the money that they already have, that is that extra boost to let them know we love you, we care about you, we want you to go forward, to dream that big dream and make it all come true.
If any of you out there have ever gone to school, you know every little bit helps. Every little bit. And so whatever we're able to do, my wife is able to do for us giving out scholarships to these young folks, I'm sure they are appreciative and it will go to a great cause. And that's why I'm doing a little plug here. That's why it's so important that you support her book. She has 2 books out, and the proceeds from the book goes toward scholarships for scholars. So, so don't think you're going in vain. The money is going to a good cause to help students as they try to make their way through college, trade school, whatever to do and get a job and be self-sufficient.
And what we're going to do probably in one of our next shows is tell you about the students who received some money recently from us. 2 of the students will be going to 4-year schools, and 2 other students will be pursuing some type of certification through trade schools. And you will see these young people are right on the ball. They are trying to do something positive. They have their future ready to go, ready to move forward, and they want to work hard. So, Brother Paul, when you were thinking about going to school and becoming an adult and being independent, what was really on your mind?
Well, I might have been selfish, but my thing was, and not that my parents were bad; they were excellent. They were the best parents you could ever have. But I wanted to get out on my own. I wanted to break loose. I had the self motivation to get out. So that's what I was looking for. Pack my little. I remember we packed my little trunk, threw my little stuff off in there, and they sent me on my way. And so, and thing about it is, when I left that day, I never came back home except for holidays like Christmas. That was about it. Christmas. I came home for that. But otherwise than that, I didn't come home. And not that I couldn't come home. It's just the fact that I want to be independent and make my own way.
And I think I felt the same way as an only child. It wasn't that I had been sheltered, but let's just say my folks loved me a whole bunch. And there were a lot of things that I was not able to do that some of my friends were able to do. I had to end up buying my own bicycle. They wouldn't buy me a bicycle. They wouldn't buy me skates. They thought all I needed, Brother Paul, was 2 pairs of shoes, those little Sunday shoes, and then my school shoes. But as far as different color shoes, they say, you don't need that. You can wear these Buster Browns everywhere. And so my motivation was I wanted to be on my own, and I wanted to make my own money so I could go shopping and buy different kinds of shoes and boots and go and travel and stay out as long as I wanted to stay out, so we could bowl and play bid whist and spades and just have a good time. And I don't think our parents understood that.
Nope. And that's why with our children, I tried to be somewhat accommodating. Although as a parent, I don't care how old your child is. Well, in my case, anyway, I don't care how old they are. They always on your heart, and so you always
They are.
and so you always think about them. And when they out here well, I ain't gonna say in the streets, but they out here driving their own cars and going here and there, it weighs on you, because a lot of things can happen out there. But you have to trust in the fact that you try to raise them correctly, and you have to believe that they will do the right thing in the right time, in the right situation.
And that's something I think that you hear more and more about now, especially if you have young men or young boys that you're raising, how it's so important to teach them additional things. But I guess as bad as things are now, you need to tell the girls and the boys to just be very, very careful, because you never know what's going to happen, especially if you have a permanent tan like we do. You have to be especially careful. And the talk, y'all know the talk, Brother Paul?
Yes. As black males, you have to talk to your young black boys and black young men and especially when they're driving, that when they're in the car, a lot of them want to slouch down behind the wheel and have their music turned up. And you try to tell them all you're doing is drawing attention to yourself. Don't do that. sit up straight, put your music on at a reasonable volume, and go about your business. And then if you have to get pulled over, keep your hands on the wheel and obey what the officer says. And don't jump out the car unless he tell you to, but you stay in the car with your hands on the wheel so he can see your hands and you follow his instructions. And if he asks you for your registration, and if it's in your glove compartment, you tell him, sir, my registration is in my glove compartment. May I get it out? Because you're reaching to that glove compartment, and for as he knows, you're reaching for a gun. So get it clear ahead of time. Things like that, you teach your son to be aware and keep his eyes on the road and keep his eyes and ears open, and don't be distracted by a bunch of stuff. And don't have a lot of guys or people in your car. All you're doing is drawing attention to yourself, and you're subject to be pulled over. And that's a whole nother story. Going downtown to the jail.
You're right. You're right. And that goes for young ladies too. And I know we all want to look beautiful, but let's get beautiful while we're at home in our bathrooms and in our bedrooms. We can't get in our cars and be driving and putting on our makeup and fixing our eyelashes and our eyebrows and putting on lipstick and everything. We need to do all of that at home before we get in the car. Try not to do anything that will distract us or that will keep you from understanding what you need to do to drive. Because my husband has taught me a lot as far as, what do you tell me when I'm driving I need to do what?
Which one?
I know it. You have a whole list of things that you've told me. But like when I'm at a stop sign or stoplight.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of me immediately going, what did you tell me to do to wait a little bit?
Yeah, a lot of people at a stop sign, they're so hot to try to go. And soon the light change, they go zoom out. But the thing about it is, somebody could be coming in the other direction who's trying to beat the light on their side. And so therefore, they may not stop. You can't think and believe that the person on the other side is going to stop. So what you need to do is take a little time. You ain't got to wait forever, but take a few seconds to let the traffic settle down, and then you pull off. Because those who pull off too soon, I've seen many wrecks where a person been popped and T-boned because they want to jump out there real soon.
And then we have to drive defensively and offensively and watch and just be careful, stay within the speed limits, because there are so many people who now think that they are just on a racetrack and they're driving so fast, they will go around you. Won't they, Brother Paul?
I tell you the truth. Sometimes I wonder if the speed limits are considered a suggestion. I suggest you do 45. But, if you want to do 65 and 70, help yourself. And there's some roads in the city here where that goes on constantly. People just zoom by like it's nothing,
And I started thinking, now look, I've been to Europe before where you can drive real fast, but
we don't have an Autobahn here.
Yeah, this is not the Autobahn. We are in the United States of America with signage and with all kinds of information that comes up in our cars and on our phones to let us know how fast to drive. Also, speaking of phones, we can't text and drive at the same time.
You're not supposed to, but you see it all the time.
I know it.
And some folks don't realize that, a lot of phones have speech to text, where you can talk to your phone and text. And so therefore, you don't have to have your hands on the keyboard. But a lot of folks don't know how to use that, so therefore it goes unused. But my thing is, people are just, there's some roads where, if you live in this area, you know where those roads are and those highways are. Where they're really streets, parkways, but they're treated like the Autobahn. No speed limit. Get away with what you can get away with.
I know it. So what we're doing here today, I know you're saying Conversations with Able Mable. That's right. This is Conversations with Able Mable, brought to you by Amen Communications. What we do is write books and publish books, and we use the monies to provide dollars for scholars, to help students who are going to trade schools, to help students trying to get certificates and certifications so they can do all kinds of wonderful things out in the world that we need. You know, we need our barbers and beauticians and our estheticians and our folks who can do our nails and people who can take care of our cars and our welders and tattoo artists and videographers, and there's so many things. What is it? Air conditioning, brick masonry. There's so many wonderful things that you can get at our 2-year schools.
Even those who are interested in being a truck driver.
Yes,
I mean
that's huge.
That requires a post education in order to be a truck driver, and so they will be eligible for possibly a scholarship.
Yes, and health fields. It just goes on and on and on. And if you go to our website, you will be able to see more information about what we're doing and how in the future, maybe your children or grandchildren or even you, it doesn't matter. We're all lifelong learners from the womb to the tomb, always going back to school. We both went back to grad school. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Later on in life. But, and it was fun. And I enjoyed going to school and having a wonderful diversity of students in our class of people from 18, 19, 20 years old on up. And that's what learning is all about, how you can share information. And I had a teacher who once said, I'm learning as much from you all as you all are learning from me. And she was saying, I'm really like a guide in this classroom, and you all are helping to share and helping to make all these principles come to life. So that's what learning is all about. We are constantly learning. We're constantly getting better and better at what we do. Think about how you improve on your jobs from day to day. You're always having to learn something new if you want to continue on that job and keep going forward.
Yep. A lot of jobs require extra learning. And then a lot of times they'll send you to seminars or they'll require you to take courses online or whatever to do your job effectively. So learning does not stop at the 12th grade.
I know it. Study to show thyself approved. A workman who what? Needeth not to be ashamed. And you don't want to make anybody ashamed. You want to make sure that you and your future employer and that the folks you're working with, your team, that you don't embarrass them because you don't know some information you need to know. We all can keep learning and learning and learning. Get and keep our learning and get and keep our burning. And as technology improves and advances, Brother Paul, it's almost like this is a necessity.
For sure. And now with the advent of AI coming into the arena, everybody need to be mindful of their job and look around and see how can AI possibly snatch my job away, because in the future that just might happen. I mean, they're using AI in the newspaper room, and copywriters who are doing stories. A lot of times you see stories written and you think it's written by a person. It may very well have been written by a computer.
Well, I don't know how far we've gotten with that, but that's one of the things that we read the other day in the New York Times, how this lady was a copywriter and she was going to have to leave her job because they were going to have the computers to do what she had been doing as a writer. And think about our own jobs. When we first came to North Carolina, when you were saying in the plant where you worked, there were a certain number of people, but they just kept downsizing because who came in?
They started using technology.
See?
They started using, like when I first got there, well, make a long story short, we have something called a palletizer, which palletized the product, put it on pallets, stacked it, put it on pallets. And that was done manually. Well, it was done semi-manually. It had to take a person to operate the equipment. Well, as time went on, they automated that process. And all they had now, well, they had maybe 4 lines. They had 4 people working those machines. They cut it back down maybe to 2 people who ran the 4 machines. And really, they didn't run them. All they were doing was monitoring because machines ran themselves. And all they did was clear jams, a clear problem. But the machine was automatic. It just put them on there.
I remember when I was working in television, how at one time when you would see live TV and there would be a number of people in the studio working to make sure that you could see the live TV show. But now when you go and do an interview in many of the TV stations, there's maybe just one person who's almost on like a scooter type piece of equipment. And then there's someone else in another part of the studio, and they just don't need all those people anymore because everything is being set up with technology. So technology is really, really moving fast and moving real quick. Right, Brother Paul?
Right. And if you're not keen and if you're not on top of your game, you could be swallowed up. And when you wake up, it'll be too late. It'll be over.
Yes.
And so
yes.
I would recommend anyone, if you're still in the work environment, to find you an exit of escape. Have a ejection plan, because it just may very well come when you least expect it.
You need plan A, plan B, and plan C. And even with our cell phones that we use every day, and our phones and our homes, everything is push,
Yep.
remote controls and
Yep.
And what's amazing is that grandchildren can work many of these pieces of equipment better than us, and some of them are not even in preschool yet.
That's what I'm saying. And when we say grandchildren, I mean like 2 years old or 1.5 years old, just barely
Able to walk.
right, and able to hold the phone, and they can go on the phone and give you a call. Sometimes the phone will ring, and you wonder, who is it? And they'll be on the other end going,
breathing and laughing. And that happened to me. I remember one day I was in a meeting at work and my phone rang and I saw one of our sons' names on there. And I said, okay, let me take this. This might be important. And I said, hello. And all I could hear was this breathing. And Joshua said, that's your granddaughter calling you. And she's laughing on the other side of the phone. I'm thinking, this baby knew how to call Mimi. These babies know how to call Mimi and Pops. That shows you how smart these children are.
Yep, it's a different age. And like I said, I'm just amazed at all the different degrees and majors these young people can major in. Everything from physics to astrophysics to, oh my God, geology, geothermal. It just goes on and on and on.
And you have to have a strong background in the basics. You need to know how to read. You need to know how to write. You need to know how to compute in your brain, how to add and subtract and multiply. And I know we have all of these extra things that we can rely on, but if and when these computers or something go down, your bosses are going to want you to continue to do your work.
That's why sometimes
you go, I know what you're going to say. Say it, baby.
That's why sometimes when you're in the grocery store and the power goes out and the person, the cashier, is just stunned. They have no clue. And
they're trying to figure out you gave them a $20 bill.
And they don't know.
Duh.
Right, the computer's not there. And then some of them have a calculator on the side, and they get the little calculator and go. I say, whatever, just give me my change back.
And this is why we have to teach our children and grandchildren and great-grands how to count money, how to get change. And see, when we were little kids, we were able to go to the store for people. So somebody would give me a $5 bill and say, go get me a loaf of bread, get some milk, get me 2 double colas, get me a BC, and get me some butter or whatever. They would give me a list. I could write it down. I would go to the store for them. I knew how to count along with the cashier to get the right amount of money back. And then when I went back to my neighborhood and gave it to the person who sent me to the store, I could count the money back accurately, give them their groceries, and then they would give me what, a nickel or a dime or whatever. You know, a lot of times you would just say, especially if it was an elderly person, you would just say, that's okay. You know, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to help you out.
But I'll tell you one thing. If you came back and you didn't have their change correct,
That's right.
they let you know it. So that's why it was imperative on your part to know how to count and how to bring that change back accurately.
That's right. And we didn't have cell phones, but if you couldn't count, you better believe within minutes, your parents knew that you had gone to the store for somebody and didn't know how to count. So you stayed, we were all on our P's and Q's. We were trying to do the best that we could.
Yep. For sure.
So, Brother Paul, I think what we're trying to say today in Conversations with Able Mable, and I'm Able Mable, your princess of poetry and praise.
And I'm Brother Paul.
What we're trying to say is that let's make sure that we remember the basics.
And let's make sure that we encourage our young people. A lot of times we're so down on them, but all our young people are not bad.
That's right.
All of our young people are not in the ghetto. Are they gangsters? Are laying out all times of night?
That's right.
A lot of our young people are focused. They have dreams. They have aspirations, and a lot of them have a game plan just how to get to where they want to be.
And what they need from all of us, meaning you, and me, they need us to encourage them and let them know you're going to make it. So this has been another edition of Conversations with Able Mable, brought to you by Amen Communications. Check us out on our website at ABLEMABLE1.com. That's AbleMable1.com. And you can see us on YouTube and see us on GCTV.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the presentation today. I was a sidekick.
He's not a sidekick. You're from forever.
I was a sidekick.
No.
So I hope something was said today that might have inspired you to do something toward our young people.
Help our young people. Let's keep the dream alive by being a part of the dream and encouraging the dream. We're all part of the A-team to keep dreams alive. Love you all.
Bye-bye. We'll see ya.
Ta-ta.
When we see ya.